Welcome to the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast, where sexual taboos around sex and motherhood are broken. I'm Tilly Storm, holistic sex and intimacy coach, jade egg, and tantric sex teacher. I work with high-achieving moms to ignite their sexual desire and break through their blocks to pleasure and the life they desire so they can experience epic sex and orgasmic motherhood. Grab more free resources at www.tillystorm.com. This episode is brought to you for free by the Essentially Embodied Woman Collective, my signature women's group coaching program for high-achieving moms to get their desire back after having kids and up-level their pleasure, both in the bedroom and life. If you're enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app, and please rate and review the podcast and share it with a friend who could use this amazing content. Spread the love, hot mama. Ha ha ha, welcome back mamas, it's Tilly, and this week we are continuing on our podcast series of Matrix Free Mamas. This is a podcast series that I'm doing to help those of you learn and understand what's really going on in the world right now, what's going on the planet, and also to inspire you to take action in the direction of the life that you want to create in terms of relationship, sexuality, business, work-life balance, all that stuff. This podcast in particular, we are talking about using the feminine cycles to build a new blueprint. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, it's rather long. I don't usually do episodes this long because I know the attention span of most people is really short these days. And, a commute or a walk and a 20-minute podcast is doable, but something 51 minutes can be, a little long, and it's a commitment. I get it, but it's totally worth it. The feedback that I received on that podcast was quite epic. So I think it's worth giving a listen if you haven't already, but it was on using sexual energy, transmutation to break free from the matrix, and why it's absolutely vital that we connect to our sexuality to heal and integrate our sexuality in order to create the life of freedom, the legacy of freedom that we want to leave for our children. This is not the world that you want to leave your children. If this is the world you want to leave your children, I don't think you're going to want to listen to me anymore. So you might as well turn around, unsubscribe from the podcast, because that is not what we are about. We are all about helping you to remember your sovereignty and to understand that you are the creator of your experience, that you absolutely have the power to create the legacy that you want to leave for your children. So if you're a victim, you want to stay a victim, you like being in the victim identity, and you enjoy that, then this is not for you. Absolutely not for you. This is about those of you who are willing to carve a new way, the brave, courageous souls out there willing to go and dive in and to create a new blueprint and a map for our children, because the one that we were given from our parents is no longer working. I was on a group call with my essentially embodied woman last night, actually, and something came up. This was a one-on-one session, actually, with one of our clients. Something came up that really inspired me about recording this podcast today, and it was about the trauma of patriarchy. Now, patriarchy is a huge buzzword, and it's one that's completely overused. It's one that a lot of women use to remain in their victim identity, but it is also a real thing, and I acknowledge that. I've come up against it in my own healing journey. I've come up against it in my work and, with my own coaches, and I've seen the effect that it's had on me. And the hustle paradigm where we work until we're burnt out and overwhelmed, and then it's like you just go into a hypotrauma response, and then you don't want to do anything, and you can't take the action because your nervous system is shot, your adrenal function is not where it should be, all of this stuff. So when I say the trauma of patriarchy, I mean the true form of the linear way that we have done life for so long, that the trauma of patriarchy is actually where you achieve something, and then as soon as you achieve it, instead of stopping to celebrate it and to revel in it, or to let something die off and go into a winter phase to move into a spring phase and create something new, instead of our lives being based off of the cyclical nature as the feminine cycles teach us, we live in a society where everything is linear. So once you hit the mark, the goal that you've wanted to achieve for so long, you immediately move it forward. And this is traumatic to a female body. Okay? The reason why is because it keeps you in a constant state of doing and achieving. But your body is not meant to remain in a constant state of doing and achieving. It is meant to go through cycles. And when we look in the Taoist tradition, the Jade practice in particular, it teaches us about the rhythms and the cycles of life. That we are constantly, even in our sexuality, moving from a spring to a summer to an autumn to a winter phase. And that there's wisdom in the female body, in the feminine cycle. So what are other feminine cycles that exist out there? Well, there's planting seasons, there's the moon phases, the tides, sometimes the weather, and our menstrual cycles. So all of these cycles are what I consider to be the feminine cycles. And these cycles, when we tap into them and we see them and learn to view them as a roadmap to success, a roadmap to do things differently, this is when we begin to break free from the old paradigm, the linear paradigm, the patriarchal paradigm that says once you achieve something, you immediately move the needle forward, and then boom, there you're off to the races again until you achieve the next thing. This is absolutely detrimental to the female body, psyche, emotional system, literally everything that Shakti, feminine energy, is about. It cannot sustain being in a perpetual state of doing and becoming and achieving. Otherwise, you burn out, you get overwhelmed, and you crash and burn, which many of you, I'm sure, have experienced at least one time or another, being raised in this ultra linear society. Now, how can we use the feminine cycles to build a new blueprint? Well, my dear, it means that you get to acknowledge, number one, that you are a cyclical being living in a cyclical body, living in a cyclical world. It means you get to let go of the stories, the beliefs, the perceptions that you've created about how life is linear. And you get to adopt new stories, beliefs, and perceptions about how living in a cyclical fashion can support you. So there's this utter fear and terror for many of us, especially us entrepreneurs or us that are high achieving women and careers, that if we take rest, if we go into a creative lull, if we take a break, if we relax and chill the fuck out for a time being, then everything will crash and burn. And, who will be there to hold it up? How will we still be able to make money if we relax, if we surrender and we let go and we rest? This is the trauma right here, okay? Because we don't have the trust and faith from our own mothers that this is even possible. We don't have a blueprint for it, okay? So I always tell my clients that when we are healing from negative conditioning or trauma, it's much, much easier to heal something when you have a blueprint of it, maybe if it's even from another area of your life. So for example, if you're working on experiencing more safety to be fully sexual, if you feel safe fully in another area of your life, say you feel fully safe to express yourself at work or in your business, how can you bridge that safety to your sexuality? So if you have a blueprint for safety, then great. It's so much easier to create a blueprint from one thing and bridge it to another thing than it is when you have a system that doesn't have the blueprint at all for safety. So say there are no areas of your life where you feel fully safe to be expressed, to express all of who you are. If that's the case, then what do we get to do? We get to go in and build a blueprint. And it's completely possible, but it takes time, and it takes a lot more of embodying the felt sense, the sensation of safety itself. So how this relates to the feminine cycle is honoring our body, trusting that we can honor our bodies. We can go and enter into an autumn or a winter phase in life and know that everything is still going to be okay. Okay. So this is something that many of us struggle with, that we don't have the embodied sense that we will be safe if we let go and surrender to a autumn and winter. And that's why it's going to take lots of support and lots of embodying safety to build the blueprint of safety that's going to be required for us to rewrite history, or herstory, if you'd like to call it that. So rewriting history, leaving a new legacy for your children, means that, yep, you might not have the blueprint for it, but you damn well get to create one, mama. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm right there with you. Okay. I have had to create this blueprint of safety inside myself through resourcing, through honoring my feminine cycles. And when I come up against the trigger and I come up against the, oh my God, like I'm in a creative rut right now, or I can't launch something right now, what's going to happen to my business? I've come into this fully resourced place. Resourcing meaning like I'll be lying in bed in the morning. I'll feel the anxiety, the scarcity, the overwhelm of like, oh my God, I have to do something. What do I do in that moment? I, number one, recognize that this is a trauma wall. This is the wall of like the part of my psyche that fully believes that I constantly have to be doing in order to achieve something. And when I'm recognizing and coming up against this thing, I'm seeing it as the trauma wall. So I'm like, okay, this is the trauma. This is the thing that we are working to heal right now and to get past. And the way that we do that is by acknowledging that it's there, not trying to get rid of it, to change it, any of those things, but to fully accept that it's there. It can still be there, and you can still move in the direction of your desires, which is, okay, I desire to honor my body in this moment. And in this moment, I am not available for hustling. In this moment, I am not available for getting up and going at it all day, every day, just to make ends meet. So resourcing means that in that moment, instead of freaking out and hitting the wall and then wanting to get up immediately, turn on the phone, look at the freaking news, all the crazy shit going on in the world, how many clients booked calls with us, instead of doing all of these things right off the bat, resourcing means I'm recognizing that this pattern exists and I'm coming into a sense of safety. How do I know I'm safe right here, right now, in this moment? How can I connect to an embodied sense of safety without having to jump and go hustle and go do all of the things when I'm in a phase of it's not time to do all of the things, or my body is just not available for this right now? Say I'm on my period and I don't feel like doing anything for 2 days, right? How can you honor your body and to quit going into the hustle phase? Right? And this is what honoring the feminine cycles is all about. It is a learned thing because it means that you have to begin embodying a blueprint that you don't have. And that's what Matrix Free Mamas is all about, my loves. Yes, this is a creative download that was given to me over the past month. I guess since December, it started coming through. And the Matrix Free Mama program is a 10-month coaching container, a very high-level coaching container for high-achieving career or business women who want to embody the legacy of freedom that they want to leave for their children. Okay. It is high level support. So there's 10 modules that we're going to be going through in the whole program. We're going to be going through things such as sexuality, sovereignty, relationships, purpose, business, money, creation, parenting, work-life balance. This isn't just a sexuality program, because part of the work that I'm being called to do is to bridge sexuality to all of these other, to bridge the foundation of our beingness and our worth into all other areas of our life. Because without an integrated sexuality, the foundation isn't firm. So you can go and do and achieve all the things, and at the end of the day, do you feel worthy of being in a beautiful, sexual, sensual female body? Do you feel safe to express all of who you are and all of your juicy sensuality and sexuality? At the end of the day, if you can't do those things, then what the hell do you have? What do you have if you can't even feel safe to be in the divine feminine body that the good Lord, the good God, the good universe, whatever you want to call it? I say Lord because I grew up in the South, and that's what I hear in my head, right? Southern Baptist, right? The good Lord gave you. How can you feel good in your body? If you don't feel good in your body at the end of the day, then what the hell is this even for? Because the body is literally a roadmap. If you look at the tantric tradition and the chakra system is a roadmap for success. But most of us tend to be all up in our upper chakras, because this is safety mechanisms. Okay, safety mechanisms have taught us that it's not really safe to be in our sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is the most wounded chakra on the planet. This is the one that has to do with pleasure, with sensuality, with experiencing joy and freedom in your life, freedom to express and have fun. And it often has a lot to do with inner child drama and business. Okay. So whatever your inner child got taught about pleasure and fun and sexuality and sensuality. So often working on your sacral chakra means that you get to go in and work on your inner child and reparent her, to give her a new story and a new blueprint on how to experience pleasure, joy, and ecstasy in this life. Because that's the one that, as women, when we get raised in a linear society, that we're not able to honor, because our nature is cyclical and it just doesn't match, right? It doesn't match to be a cyclical being in a linear world. So you have to banish parts and pieces of yourself. You have to put your pleasure last. You have to make yourself a priority last in order to live in this linear society. So if you are done with that, then this is a program that is going to teach you all about how to honor your feminine body, to work with the feminine cycles and the rhythms of life, and still be successful and enter into what a coach friend of mine, Kate Northrup, calls the upward cycle of success. So she has a business called The Origin Company. I was a client of hers for several years. I love her work. She really has been the one to really dial in and talk about the feminine cycles as a means to do less and achieve more. So I do want to credit her for really bringing her work to the forefront. She wrote a book called The Do Less Method, I believe. It's a really amazing book for those of you that are interested in how to use the feminine cycles and to work with them in order to break free from this paradigm, this linear paradigm. And in Matrix Free Mamas, we are using the feminine cycles. We are coming up against that linear patriarchal trauma, and we are working with that head on so that you can experience success in honoring your body and your feminine intuition, and that you can create a business and a life that you love without having to throw that by the wayside just to fit into this linear world that we live in. So Matrix Free Mamas is your ticket out of the Matrix into 5D consciousness, my love. 5D consciousness, meaning that in there, we ain't doing this. We ain't doing this, overwhelm, burnout. It's interesting. The thing that did come up in our group coaching call last night that I wanted to share, I knew there was something, and now it's coming to me, was that over the last 2 years since we have been doing the Essentially Embodied Woman program, I have noticed ever since we started like a month before the pandemic, okay? Ever since we started, I have witnessed each and every one of our clients, all 56 of you that have done this program, I have witnessed each and every one of them, every round we've done, as time has gone on, that we have had this program through the pandemic, it has become more and more obvious to me as a coach, a teacher, a guide, that women are experiencing absolutely unprecedented amounts of stress, overwhelm, and burnout. Okay. If we thought it was bad pre-pandemic, no. We had no idea. We had no freaking clue what was coming for us when this started. And I have seen all of the women in our program, it's just gone from, sex life with my husband is great, but I know it could be better. I want to become multi-orgasmic, and that being the focus. And that's awesome. I love that as a focus, right? It's fun. But it's gone from that to, oh my God, I just want to know how I can find 1 ounce of joy in this day, because every time I try to bring my kid to school, they get sent home because they're sick. And then my life is in pieces because I can't even have a regular functioning workday anymore. And I don't know even how to count on anything, right? The level of uncertainty is absolutely unprecedented right now, and how it's affecting people's lives. I mean, I see it and I work with it every single day with all of our clients, but it's absolutely incredible how much all of our systems are going through right now, and how the bar has just been lowered so much about okay, I want to experience all the orgasms, all the pleasure, to, oh my God, can I just find and be present? Can I find some ounce of pleasure in being present with my kids? To can I just find some ounce of pleasure in being with my partner, even if it's just, even if it's pretty rare that we make love or anything. So just the amount of stress and strain that has been added to people's lives because of this whole world situation, it really is driving us to learn to be present, to learn to work and with any ounce of pleasure that we can find in any given moment, and just grab hold of it, take it by the hand, and just hold the hell on to it, and to amplify that little bitty piece and ounce of pleasure. Because if that's all you got, then that's all you got to work with, and that's okay. Can it be enough? Can it be enough? Because when we focus on the tiny things, when we focus on the little things, and we celebrate them, we honor them, we keep our focus and attention on them, they grow. So it is from this place of, for a lot of us, this is pretty freaking rock bottom. So it's from this place of being fully maxed out for a lot of us, where our systems are being called to expand into 5D consciousness. So we can either shrink back into it and go into our hypo-trauma responses and not want to get out of bed at all, or we can go into complete overreactive mode, become a Karen, like the crazy freaking people that you see on TikTok videos these days who really just need to get fucked. But so we can go from either one of those reactions to how can we grow and expand from this, and to bring more freedom, peace. How can we tap into our sovereignty to create the life of freedom and purpose that we want for ourselves and our children? So, Matrix 3 Mamas 10-month coaching program. There is no application page other than you book a call, I ask you questions, you answer the questions, we get on a call, and we decide if this is right for you and if it's right for me. This is a very small, tight-knit group of women that I'm going to be accepting into this program. Fuck a sales page. I ain't got time for that right now. I'm moving house with my children and my family, my boyfriend, and it's just not something that my guides have told me is needed, because they have told me and guided me that you will know if this is for you, and you will know if it is not. We are starting February 14th, Valentine's Day. The last day to book your call to speak with me about this program is February 11th. So in the program, I'm going to be teaching you and coaching you through 10 interactive sessions where we're really going into shadow to light. We're going into, that's what I'm going to call them, shadow to light interactive sessions. This is where we're going into your deep unconscious shadows. We're going through some shamanic freaking journeying, some underworld journeying. This is like everything that I've never gotten to teach on because I've never created a container to do it. But here we are. It is time. I've been called. You have been called, my love. All right. So these calls are going to incorporate live teachings and trainings as well as group coaching. Our calls are going to go approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you're going to leave feeling elevated and inspired to take action. This program is about me guiding you to light your own inner fire. This program is root, sacral, chakra, healing, integration. It is all about taking action. In this program, you're getting 10 of those interactive sessions, 10 live pleasure practice calls, because pleasure first, my love, pleasure first. Without pleasure, I am motivated by pleasure. Some people are motivated by pain. I am not. I am motivated by pleasure. And no matter what we do or what actions we take, if they don't feel pleasurable, they're not going to lead you where you want to go. I promise you. So yes, we are doing sexuality practices in this program. So you're going to get 10 live pleasure practice calls with me. And you're going to get 10 community connection calls with the other women in the program. You're going to get 10 co-working calls. What are these? Okay. So this program is for women who are wanting to step into their purpose, create the business that they want to create. This program is for high achieving women who have got it together, but they're done living in this paradigm and this blueprint, and they want to create a new one. So in our co-working calls, you can work on your business. I used to teach a pleasure and prosperity mastermind. You're going to get all of the content from the pleasure and prosperity mastermind. However, this is not a business coaching program. I'm not teaching you strategy. I will be there absolutely to give you my my coaching on strategy if you want in our co-working calls, but if you want strict strategy to build your business, this ain't it. But we do support you in that, because that is part of living your purpose, is doing your purpose work. And since we do have all the resources for that, we are giving you access to our Pleasure and Prosperity member library, which has so much stuff, like literally everything you need to build a 6-figure business in it. So you'll get 10 co-working calls where we can go into your business, we can go into purpose work, we can go into helping you find a schooling situation that is better for your children, that's more aligned to their soul's calling. Part of what my guides have told me and shown me is that you've got to get your children out of the industrialized education system, but you're terrified. I know you're terrified. I just did it. I've been on an entire year-long journey, over a year now, of doing it, and it's been utterly terrifying. Listen to the last episode if you want to hear about that, okay? I had so much family drama, family conditioning that I had to overcome to take my kids out of that system. But it had to be done. Like, it had to be done. I could not live in alignment with anything I was doing, continuing to send my kids to that school that they were going to. So, yes, it was a hard thing to do, but I'm so glad I did it. And it's part of their soul's journey to get out of that and to find their own desires. I'm raising entrepreneurs and innovators. I'm not raising factory workers. So if you would like support with that, I can absolutely help you. We did private tutoring. We went through homeschool curriculum. I chose all of the curriculum. We did that for almost, about 8 or 9 months. We did an alternative school in Costa Rica, and now we're doing a Montessori high school. It's 6th through 12th grade. So Montessori, what do they call it these days? junior high school, middle school, through high school. And we have found that that's where everyone is happiest, and while also honoring the creativity, the creative capacity of my children. So yeah, in our co-working calls, we're going from anything to supporting you and literally designing curriculum, researching whatever it is you need to research. You'll have my full attention on any of that you want to go into. You're going to have a daily accountability challenge where you're going to be working with your nervous system every morning, just like we do in SEW, their Essentially Embodied Woman program, but this will be very specific to breaking out of the matrix and embodying your sovereignty and freedom, my love. You're going to have a private online community in our Vimify app. You'll have your own exclusive members area library where you'll have lifetime access. You're going to get over 30 exclusive audio guided practices and meditations that are not in any of our other programs, not in our Pleasure and Prosperity Mastermind or the Essentially Embodied Woman program, and so much more. And immediately upon signing up for Matrix Free Mamas, you will gain access to the Pleasure and Prosperity Business material, so you can start taking action on your purpose work in your business now. And the only way you can apply for this is to go to bit.ly/matrix-free-mama. bit.ly/matrix-free-mama. I will include it in our email newsletter for the podcast each week. I will include it in the show notes for whatever app you're listening to this on. If you're on iTunes, you can literally click to the call link from the notes or the description of the episode. If you are listening to this from our blog, you can go to tillystorm.com/blog. There's a podcast blog post that will have the link to the call as well. So you will book the call time no later than February 11th. You will fill out the application. Please take your time filling out the application. Please give me more than a one-word answer, or I'm probably not going to be very happy. Okay. Again, I don't want to waste my time, and I know you don't want to waste yours because you are already strapped for time. So let's not do any wasting each other's time. We're all busy doing our thing. I'm busy living my purpose. You're busy trying to live yours as well. I'm here to guide you and to facilitate the underworld journeying, the shadow work integration, the sacral and root chakra work required for you to live and embody freedom and sovereignty. So fill out the application as best you can, and we will connect to see if this is right for you. All right, my loves, thank you so much for joining, and here's to creating a blueprint using the feminine cycles and leaving this legacy for our children so that they can actually honor themselves and their bodies and who they are as sexual, sensual beings, and not have to live in a linear society that leads to burnout, stress, overwhelm, and all sorts of illnesses related to those things. All right, my loves, thank you so much, and we'll talk next week. Bye. Enjoying this content? Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast today. And don't forget to spread the love by sharing this with a friend.